Hello everyone, my name is Simone Arena. I'm a principal TME in the Enterprise Business Group, and today I would like to talk to you about how to migrate an existing AireOS deployment and configuration to a new 9800 deployment using Cisco DNA Center and using the automation that is built into this orchestrator. So first of all, we need some prerequisite in order to support this migration with DNAC. You need to have already created a site hierarchy for your site, your building, your floors, and that you want to use with the new 9800. Also, the 9800 has to be discovered and added to the inventory and has to be in reachable and managed state. So that is a simple step. Same step for the AireOS device. And then for the AireOS device, we are going to assign it to a site and then learn the config, which is a feature that we now have in DNA Center to learn the configuration from the device. Okay, so let's go into the demo. So here is my Cisco DNA Center. I have my site configure. I have a US West with a building and 2 floors underneath that building. As you can see, as far as the wireless configuration, this is completely empty. There is no wireless configuration at all. I have 2 existing network profiles for other locations, nothing in the US, right? And as for the requirements, basically I have an existing controller, the 5520, which has been added to the inventory, but as you can see, it's not provisioned. So just add it to the inventory and add it to the site, okay, in this case, the building. This is the other controller that has been, again, added just through a discovery through to DNA Center. It's just in managed state, not provisioned at all. Okay, so if I go to my network controller here, the existing network controller, I can see that I have 2 APs. I should also have, that I'm connected to this controller, I should also have 2, well, in this case, 1 client. And I can see, the client is active and everything. Other configuration, I have 2 SSIDs, one PSK and one .1x. I also have 2 AP groups just to create a simple configuration. In floor 2 AP group, I'm broadcasting only the SJ PSK SSID, and I have 1 AP, the 3800. In the other building 24 floor 3, I'm broadcasting only the .1x SSID associated, to VLAN also 211. In the other case was VLAN 210, and I have another AP, the AP 2800. Okay, let me also show you that I have the SJ controller. This is the new controller that we are going to migrate to. Of course, it doesn't have any APs at the moment, and all the only configuration that I have is basically the minimum configuration that you get through day 0. So the wireless management configuration. But if you look at WLANs, if you look at the policy, profile and everything is unconfigured, everything is default. Okay, now at this point we are ready to start. So the first thing we need to do is go to the provision page and learn the configuration from the wireless controller. So highlight that, and we use this action, which is learn device config. So it is already assigned to a site. So I click next. So for the network config, he is learning the radio server that I have there. And of course, since we cannot learn the passwords because those are encrypted, he asked me to configure that password. Same thing for the PSK SSID. I need to put that password actually by hand. Okay, I have, as I showed you before, I had 2 SSIDs, so that's what it's learning. If there is any discarded config, meaning duplicated config, he's going to discard. So he found that there was a DHCP servers, which I'm already using as part of my design. So he's telling me that he's going to discard this configuration because I already have it, which is fine. So let's just verify that I didn't mistype the password. Also, it's learning the 2 interfaces, okay, and an RF profile. So perfect. At this point, I click next. Now, since I have, as I showed you before, for each AP group, I have an AP and WLAN assigned. He's learning, DNAC is learning this and asked me to create a profile. Okay. So in this profile, I'm going to call it building 24 and the number 3 as the floor, okay, and which will have the .1x SSID, and this other one I'm going to call it building 24 and the number 2 as the floor, and I have the PSK SSID, okay, and then click save. And it's telling me that the brownfield configuration has been successfully learned. Okay, what it means is that now I can go to the design, network settings, wireless, and now I find the SSID and both SSIDs. I also find in the network profiles that he has added the 2 profiles. And so, and the other thing, sorry, I had to check is also the interfaces that he learned. Okay, so as you can see here, he learned the interfaces, just, you know, the VLAN as they were on the controller, the AireOS controller. Okay, so I have all the elements right now to go and provision my new controller. Now, before I do that, I need to assign this to a site. So I'm going to go and basically select floor, in this case, floor 2, select, and then also this one, same thing here, floor 3. This is going to be applied to 3. Okay, now I'm going to go and do provision. Okay, so I'm going to select the new controller, and then I'm going to provision. Choose the site. In this case, it's going to be the building 24, right? I'm going to active controller, the 2 floors are going to be my managed IP. Now, this is important. So it's showing me that I will have 2 interfaces. I have the option here to define the IP address, but as you know, in 9800, differently from AireOS, we don't need the dynamic interface or the SVI in 9800 world. We just need the VLAN for the client traffic, for centrally switch clients. So I don't need to put the IP address here, and so I'm just going to and here it's telling me what is going to push. So it's going to push, of course, the AAA server that we have learned. DHCP servers were already there, so we're going to push those, and then the two new SSID with, you know, the 2 managed sites and the interfaces. Okay, so I could just click deploy and apply. It's validating the configuration, so the provision started. So whatever configuration I learned, it's now being pushed to the new controller. So I have to wait a few seconds here. You can hit refresh if you are impatient to see if it actually proceeding, and it was actually success. So now let me filter here, so I can filter for the device name and just SJ, so I only deal with the AP and the controller. Okay, so this is now in managed state and provision, so I can go here actually to the controller and see that some configuration has already been pushed to the device. For example, I have now 2 profiles, and I also have 2 WLANs, 2 wireless network being pushed. You recognize, because of this extension that DNAC put, for now I can see only the policy profile, where I have the different VLAN applied. In this case, VLAN 220 and 211 for the other controller. And I can also check here that I have the 2 VLANs that are now, I just only have 1 SPI, of course, but I have 2 VLANs that were created, 210 and 211. Okay, of course, you need to make sure that in your trunk configuration you allow this VLANs. Okay, so at this point, as you can see, these APs are still connected to my controller, AireOS controller. So I need to move these APs. A quick way of doing this is to go to the APs, and this is when you will have an interruption of services. Is to go here, go to the high availability tab, and change this to the other controller, 9800 C9800-SJ-11, and the IP address would be .11. Just click apply, and then go to the other one and just making sure the device name. If you want to make sure what is the device name, you go here, and that's where you find your device name. So you can also cut and paste if you don't want to type and risk some misconfiguration. And then .11 would be your wireless management interface. Again, here you can check that the wireless management interface under wireless 172.16.201.11. So that's what we configured. And now if we go back here and we wait for a little bit, these two APs will actually they will actually go away. So let's wait for the APs to go. So now the APs are gone, and now the APs will be joining the other controller. The APs will be joining the other controller. Of course, when they join the other controller, if they haven't done it already, if it's the first time they join the new controller, the new 9800 controller, they have to download the new image. So you will have a downtime for some time. Then what we need to check here is when they appear on this other controller. In this case, it was pretty quick. So they basically they already had the image, because I've done this demo before. So they already had as secondary image the 9800 image. So it was quick to join. To reflect this change is basically go to provision, and you can resync from here the configuration so that DNAC will learn that, and let me filter by device name again. So SJ-C, so we only, dash SJ, so we only see the APs that we care, that these APs are now connected to this controller. Okay, so this is now changed to reflect that is now connected to this controller. So at this point, I can actually go and provision these two APs that now belong to this controller. So now provision, the site is the same that they were before, so that's good. The RF profiles here, as you can see, if I wanted to, I can use the profile that I used to have in AireOS. Otherwise, I will just deploy and apply the configuration that was there in AireOS, and it tells me that the APs will restart. So this is an important difference for AireOS, as we assign this APs to a site, to a policy tag, which is the equivalent of the AP group. The AP will not reboot. We'll just disconnect CAPWAP and reconnect, usually around 30 seconds. What we need to wait is for the APs to actually reconnect. So let's go to the controller. Probably the APs will be gone. So let's wait for a few seconds for the AP to join. Now the AP are joined, and as you can see, compared to before, the difference is that now if I go to tags, I see two tags being created, one to map the .1x SSID to the policy profile, which in this case assigns the VLAN, and the other one to the PSK SSID to the policy profile. So, and then if we go to the AP, we can see that the AP has been assigned to the different policy tag for the two floors. Okay, so at this point, if I go to the clients, of course the clients will so the clients has reconnected to the .1x SSID. The other client, let me connect to the SJ PSK SSID. Okay, it seems like there is a problem. You remember this was mapped to so basically it says it's connected but no internet. So okay, so I didn't get an IP address, and the reason for this is that we have two VLANs, 2010, 2110 and 211, and I forgot to go here and enable the 210 in the trunk. Of course, I could do VLAN all. I think it's better to have this. So let's try again. Let's actually do ipconfig /renew. And now I got the IP address, and now I should be able to ping. So now if I go back here and I see my monitor clients, monitor, I click on clients, now I have my two clients in the new VLANs. Okay, so this basically, we demo how to take the configuration from AireOS, learn it into DNAC, apply, and then reapply this configuration to the new 9800. Thank you.